In this video, I'm going to be building a tank that I've wanted to do for quite a long time. I've been planning it for quite a while as well. This right here is a Corydora Catfish, and so is this one. So are these. Not that, that's a bristlenose pleco. As is this one, and this one here. Again, not that, that's a Siamese algae. And as are these here. Oh, running away. Bye-bye. Venezuelan orange Corydora. Bye. Oh, that was short-lived, wouldn't it? Oh, there we go. I've stood still and now they're coming back. Look at those. Look how gorgeous are those fish. I just teased them out, to be honest, by feeding them. Tricked ya. I'm currently trying to stay so still not to scare them all off. Because look, as soon as I come to give you a closer look, oh, bye. Yeah, that was fun. And my plan is to make a Corydora only tank in this area here. This one I can just sort of shift up a bit. Look how annoying that is when you've got two of these. You've just got a whole section behind it of nothing. Anyway, I'm going to take this one down. I'm going to move those two tanks up here somewhere. I don't even know what I'm going to do exactly yet, to be honest. Anyway, this one's got to come down because this is where I'm building a stand and also putting the tank on top. It'll be a great little area for it. We're going to go for a, let's go for a 3-foot tank, I think. Yeah, should look really good there. Right, we're going well so far. Oh, I'm out of breath. I've just been running around with all the buckets of crud. Anyway, top one's done. I've moved one of the better fish tanks here. That's looks really dull on the camera. It's not. Anyway, and then the other better fish that was in the middle tank is here. And then there was a load of endlers in the far end, and I've added them to this really nice tank that I've got here. So yeah, that's a nice little home for them. A good stocking level in this tank now, and they should enjoy it in there. Now when it comes to these tanks, I've got a Pistogramma in there, a pair, and I've got my Dumbo better fish in this one. When it comes to these, I'm going to need to build a little stand for both of them, I think. Well, actually no, one of them can sit underneath the Corydora tank. I can do like a double stacker if you like. I'm going to make a little stand for the other one just to maybe go on the end somewhere or find a space. I don't know, I mean, I don't really need that, to be honest, and all this stuff is just junk. That's going. So many people always ask me, how do I power everything in the MD studio? Well, the answer is the MD mainframe. No, I'm joking. It doesn't normally look as bad as that. I need to sort of redo it all so it's all nice again. It was all half decent, but yeah, I'll sort it in a minute. So before we carry on, guys, I just want to give a huge shout out to our sponsors, API and AQUARIAN. They are sponsoring this video today. These guys have been supporting the channel for over a year and a half now. They're absolutely brilliant. I use their products all the time. Yes, this is a sponsored video, but as many of you know, I use it everywhere, and I owe a lot of the success to my tanks to the products from these guys. Throughout the video, I'm going to be using various products which I think are key in the success of my aquariums, and I think you will as well. With that said, let's just get back to the build. Okay, so here's what we've got. It's a pretty basic sort of structure. We've got the two sort of frames at the side, one there and one there, of course. And then we've got two that go, or three, sorry, that go across like that. Now we had to make sure, move that out of the way, that I drilled into this a pilot hole so that when I screw, the screw goes down to there and pins all the way through. Then obviously you pin that to the top. I've got some to go on the sides as well. A couple of little pieces of flatwood here, look. And what I'll do is I'll either put them on the inside or the outside, and that just stops any of the horizontal movement, as well as the fact that we've got this down here. Now I'm in a toss-up here whether to keep that there or sort of go halfway. It's a tough one. I'll worry about that in a bit, but first of all I want to get all of this pinned together now with some screws. I mean, technically I could actually put a tank on this and it would support it, but it's a little bit wobbly. Let's just lock it all down. Right, there we go, that's what I'm talking about. Down the bottom here, like, I've left a shelf. That's all pinned in, so I can put like a 60cm tank that'll sit nicely in that recess for, I don't know, like a quarantine or a plant grow out, something like that. We've got completely sturdy on top, we're all good. All that's left now is for the international test for rigidity, and that's to jump on it. There we go, and yes, these are Crocs, because Crocs are awesome. Okay, so that's pretty ugly, so the next job is to paint everything black. Black makes anything look good. So that's everything painted black. I've just used masonry paint. It like gives like a sort of plasticky seal to everything, so it's like semi-waterproof if you like, so it drips down, don't affect it at all. You notice I've left the top bare. That's because this will probably be alright to put the tank on, but I don't want to take any chances, so I'm going to put a little bit of laminate flooring underlay on top, paint that black, and then yeah, smooth out any bumps. Oh, it's like unwrapping a present on Christmas Day. There we go, there it is. It's not huge, it's not small either, is it? I mean, for a big collection of Corys in there, we've got loads and loads of space. Next, I want to get a light fitted just so we can sort of see it better. Oh, come on, that is looking great, right? So remember, this is all very, very cheap stuff. This is a generic glass tank, like, it's from China, it's well made, it's not up there with the ADA quality, don't get me wrong, and the silicone work isn't perfect, but the glass is super, super clear, and I just love it. I think they're so good. Why pay like 3 or 4 times as much for like not that much gain? Unless you're really, really into like the high-end quality stuff, or it's for a client, or it's going to go in your living space, then I suppose it does kind of make sense. Now this light, extremely, extremely cheap. These are proper low end. I'll try and link something for the US market as well that I know is like kind of similar. This light, for instance, doesn't come with these. It comes with shorter versions. But I bought these separate because they go nice and high, just because I know at that height we're going to have the perfect amount of light. Now I also want to change the background. I want to put a black background on. Most people get the film, I just paint it. It's easy. I'll use the same paint that I use for the stand as well, because it works really well. So there we have it, the stage is set. This is such an exciting point for me. Like, we're just about to create, the tank's about to come to life. First job though, that substrate system. So I'm not planting a huge amount into the substrate on this tank, but we still need a good system in place, just because it helps with water quality and also future-proofs the tank in case I want to do something later on. And what I've been doing with a lot of my tanks recently is taking these mesh bags that you can see there and putting aqua soil into them, and then just putting them underneath the sand layer. This way, when like whatever fish we choose to put in, well in this case it's Cory, so they sift through the sand, don't they? If the aqua soil is in these bags, it won't get pushed up and into the sand, it won't look a mess, it won't mean I constantly have to keep picking bits out, because there's nothing more annoying than that. So yeah, aqua soil in these bags first.
So what I want to do now is add in some nutrients into those bags. So for that I use the API root tabs. These things are awesome. I use them in all of my scapes whenever I set something up. So they're just little tablets like that. And what I'm going to do is break them up into like 4 little pieces, put those little pieces into each bag, and then we've got like nutrients for the long term, and it just works so well in combination with a bit of Aquasol. You can also use them just under sand. They work really well like that as well, but combination is like really good. And just sand, it works well. When we combine that with the API Leaf Zone, which is a liquid fertilizer, you're just onto a winner. Okay, there we go. We've got our nutrient layer in. We can now cap the whole lot of this with some decorative sand, or the sand that we're going to be seeing, you know, when we look into the Aquascape. Now, if you want to get hold of these mesh bags, I'll leave a link in the description. I think they're used for like laundry purposes. I'm not sure though. Anyway, they've got plastic zips on them. The whole thing's made of plastic, so there's no rust or anything like that. They work really, really well. And the roots of any plants can just penetrate them so easily. It's all good. Plus, the best thing about it, you can reuse the Aquasol because it's not cheap, is it? So we got our nutrients, we've got our base layer in. You notice there's a gradual sort of slope to that back corner. You're probably not really going to notice that once we get all the hardscape in that in. Now I went for the ADA Colorado because it's quite different from what I'm usually use. I use more of a yellowy or whiter sand. Still not absolutely sure on it, but we'll see how it looks, once the scape evolves. I think it should look really good, to be honest, with the green and the rocks. And I'm going to use cereal stone because it just works so well with these colours and the epiphyte plants that I want to use. So yeah, we'll see how it looks at the end, but for now we need to get that hardscape going. And here is what we've got to use. We've got such a good selection here. The bottom here is the cereal stone, which is what I'm sort of more drawn to. But then I've remembered I have got these really cool sort of rounded rocks as well. Although they're not that matching, they're quite sort of different. Sometimes that can work well though. But I think this one, I'm just going to go with the cereal stone. Another reason being is there's a lot of sort of flat pieces which will work well for what I'm going for. I want to have like a sort of reef feel to this tank, so not a lot of contact with the substrate, but a lot going on sort of higher up, because we need space at the bottom for all of the Corys, don't we, to be able to swim on all that beautiful sand. Right, I'm really liking that so far. I want to create a dual island because I want that gap in the middle of swim room, but I feel like I've brought this this whole island here too far forward. I'm taking up that open swim area that I'm looking for in that foreground, so I'm going to push that back. We've got plenty of room back there, and yeah, it should look a bit better. It's all going to look a bit odd at this stage because we haven't got any wood. I want the wood to connect it all, you see. Again, I don't know at the moment if I'm going to add more rock. At this stage, that's not important. I'm just going to try and get that sort of floor plan sort of laid out. There we go. I just removed the second rock. I just felt that it was too large and taking up a lot of room, but not really adding much at this stage. Again, I could change all of this as I'm moving along. I'm still not absolutely certain on this, to be honest. I'm kind of feeling like there's too much open space, but that might be completely different when we start putting the plants in. So for now, I'm going to start linking these two islands with some wood. Now, to be honest, at the moment, I'm not incredibly worried about what the wood looks like, just that it gives me height. I'm not going to see a lot of it. I'm just using it as structure to be able to attach our plants to. That's why I've got it creeping across, because that's where I want to put plants as well. So we can have it like leading from a big chunk of plants here, and it just carries it all on with some open space in the middle and swimming room for the fish in the foreground. This area needs chunking up though, so we need more in this section. There we go, we've got the wood, we've got the shape, the structure I want. Now this is a mix of woods, by the way. It's, well, I suppose it isn't. I mean, I just bought them all at different times. I think it's like that Redmore root or spider wood. I mean, it's got a multitude of names. It's all pretty much the same thing though. So, right, what I need to do though is stick all this down because that's just all gonna float or collapse. And to do that, I'm gonna use cyanoacrylate super glue and a little bit of tissue paper as well. And if you just mix the two together, it like just goes like a solid rock. Okay, so here's what I've got. I've got the cyanoacrylate super glue. It's not gel, it's just like the liquid form. Now I've already cut the end off of it. And then I also bought these here, which are like little spouty things. And you just clip that onto the end, like that. And it means now that I can get right into any nooks and crannies and not have it sort of squirt anywhere I don't want it to. Yeah, all cheap stuff. It works well. Okay, everything's locked down, doing good. You know the tap test, tap it a load of times. If it falls apart, do it again. We're all good. But I do feel like we're sort of missing something in that middle section, or maybe it'll be too much. I'm just thinking like there's one loop there, kind of like another loop to follow. I'll just stick it in, see if it works. That's all you can do. If you feel like that, you should try it, and then at least you'll know. There we go. I don't think it works. I think it joins them too heavily, and you're sort of losing that S in the middle, do you know what I mean? Let's take it off again and have a look. I'm not sure. There we go, I've taken it off. Now, I think it's definitely better like that. Sometimes less is more. This is one of those cases. I mean, there's gonna be plants on top of this branch anyway in the middle. I'm gonna dot them along it, so that should look like really good enough on its own. Right, speaking of plants, let's get started. I'm gonna go epiphyte heavy. Like loads of Anubias, loads of little ferns. I've got loads of baby ferns, you see, that I want to attach, as well as some big ones as well, but it just should look so good. I don't care if I don't see any of the wood by the time I'm done. No, I'm exaggerating. Not that much, but I'm going to go really, really heavy on it. I just think it'll be like this display for gorgeous plants. I've got loads down here, so I've got a load of my Java fern there, Java ferns in there. I've got Hygrophila pinnatifida at the back. We've got a load of Bucephalandra here, and we've got loads of Anubias mini, like a Petite as well in that section, and more Bucephalandra there. Yeah, it's gonna look so good. And let's start off with the Anubias Petite. It's such a gorgeous little plant. These are from Tropica. I get all of mine from Tropica. Such good quality. And like I showed you then, I like to keep them down here and just keep them growing for a while. Like, they normally double in size by the time I actually use them. Now, obviously, you're probably not going to have as many plants as I have, but even if you got like half this amount, you know, they're still going to grow in time. But I like to have that like fully grown in look straight away, and I have the ability to be able to do that, so that's awesome. Yeah, so it's a simple case of just taking these out. This is going to be really hard one-handed. We've got the rock wall around it, and you just break the rock wall off, and you're left with like a root system. Oh, can you focus? There you go. A root system, which means that it can pull all the nutrients from the water column. It doesn't have to be into the substrate. Now, some of these roots will work their way down into the substrate, and that'll be even better, and they'll grow even faster, but it doesn't have to. So yeah, we can attach these using cyanoacrylate glue again, same as the stuff we used before, but this time I'll use the gel just because it like makes a better bond, and you can just put it anywhere we want then. Now, don't forget when you're doing this to keep spraying down your plants. It's easy to forget, but you just need to keep them moist. I mean, Anubias is pretty hardy as it is. It, like, you know, it can dry out a little bit, but still, just get a little spray bottle. I've got one of these from a garden centre. It costs next to nothing, and yeah, I use it all the time. Right, that's all the Anubias complete. I used a Anubias Barteri Nana in the middle there, that big one you can see. Just I wanted a like sort of punchiness to that section. And I actually used some bonsai, which is even smaller than the Petite in this side there. Just, I don't know, just to mix it up a bit. Why not? Next up, I want to put some Java Ferns in now. I'm going to do Booster Philandra as well down the bottom, but I just want to do the Java Ferns first, up in the top sections, just to see, you know, how much more rock I need to see, that kind of thing. I might add some little detail rocks to the foreground area as well with a few more pieces on. We'll see how it goes. But as far as Java Ferns goes, I'm going to want a couple of nice big pieces as focal points there, and the rest I'm going to use little baby plants. So for instance, this is my African River Aquarium. If you look down here on this Java Fern here, there's lots of little baby plantlets that are actually growing off of the main leaves. Now we can take, there's one, there's a really good example. There's its rhizome and there's all its roots. We can take those and use those again in the new scape. I've also got some over here in the Jungle Aquarium, so like basically all of those. And then down here, it's probably going to be hard to see actually, but I always, if I find any baby plantlets, I always just take them off of where they, you know, whichever tank they're in, and just chuck them down here into this little tank of water, and they just keep growing. Even though it's quite dark in there, there's enough ambient light from the room just for it to keep growing. It's brilliant. That is all the new plants I've used there from, you know, from my little storage area. Next up, I'm going to use the baby plantlets and little bits of Anubias I've got dotted around the place. I want to put some on that middle branch. I want to put some in that upper area. I want to put some in this upper area. And I'm also going to cheat a bit, and I'm going to find a stick that goes backwards because I want to put some in that, well, background. It'll look like the background from the foreground here and just add a little bit more depth to it. And I might try and do the same on the other side as well. Now you could just stop here if you were doing this. You wouldn't need to keep going, but I just feel like it's going to look really good with a bit more height of the same sort of plants. Right, I'm absolutely loving that so far. The way that the two in the middle there, that little tiny bit, and the other piece of Java Fern and Anubias, the way it's merging onto that one like it's creeping across is awesome. Now, there's one thing I'd like to do though. When you've got dual island like this, I always find it works a lot better for one island to look bigger. Now it does at the moment, but I'd like to just see that area there. Just oh, blurry, no, stop, okay, there we go. That area there needs something. It's like it's missing something, and that will balance it out beautifully. I think will be, you know, just right then. Oh, I'm so excited. We're on to a winner. A couple more things I feel we need just to really complete the look. A little rock in this area that's coming away from the main rock, and then another little one at the base of that piece of wood. That one there as well, like only tiny little ones, tiny little bit of detail stuck on it, maybe some boosters on those will look really good, I think. Oh, looking so good, and I'm glad I didn't go overboard on the plant. Who am I kidding? There's so many plants there, but you know what? I saved up for them, and I was going to split it over multiple projects, but I would rather go all out, use them all on one, make it look this good, and then save up and, you know, buy more. I don't get any of these for free, by the way, guys. I have to pay for all of them. I just prefer it that way. I mean, you get the best customer service when you pay for stuff, don't you? And that's just beneficial to me. I'm just going to fill it up now. I need to add in some stems in the background just to help with nutrient absorption later on, but I don't want to see them. I'm going to hide them. They're just going to sit in like ceramic rings right behind here. I'm probably going to use pearlweed because it's nice and small, but it grows fast. You'll barely see it, and it'll work wonders for the whole scape in general. But let's just fill it up now and get our filter flowing. Right guys, now's a really good time to introduce you to API's Aqua Essential if you don't know about it already. This stuff is really, really good. It actually detoxifies ammonia, nitrate and nitrite. It removes chlorines, chloramines and heavy metals. It's good for fresh water and salt water. Now, I quite often get asked when I'm filling up my tanks, oh, you didn't do anything to the water. Normally on a time lapse, you don't see it because it's so quick, but I always put in Aqua Essential. You've got two types of doses. You've got a big dose, and that can take out nitrites and nitrates, that kind of thing, if you're having problems with that. But for a new setup, we're not gonna have any issues like that, so I'm just gonna use a smaller dose, and that's just gonna purify the water from my tap, take out the chlorines, that kind of thing. So yeah, I'm gonna put that in now, and then whenever I do a water change over the next few days, because I'm gonna be doing quite a few of this, because it's a new setup, I'll be using it every single day. And that'll also be with API Quick Start as well, but with more on that later. Oh, and just in case you're wondering what's going on with that rock, I just put it there so that when the water falls in, it didn't disturb all the sand. I'll just take it out in a sec. We're full of water, we're looking so good. What are we gonna do for filtration though? Well, on my other tanks, my big tanks, a lot of my ecosystem aquariums, I just use a little internal filter, and I'm going to do exactly the same on this one. So for instance, this is my rainbow fish aquarium, and no CO2, just a 3 LED floodlights, a little tiny cheap surface skimmer, which I don't really need anymore, to be honest. And then it's got this internal filter here, and this is basically exactly the same one that I've now got for the Cory tank. Might be a bit overkill for the Cory tank, so I might have to just get a smaller one, but I'll see how it goes. Right, so initially it's a little bit dusted up, but that'll clear in no time. Initially I was worried that the filter was going to be too powerful, but we're getting good strong water flow, but not so much that the plants are going crazy. And also you can tell that the sand isn't being disturbed this side. So the water's going all the way around the back, hitting that, coming down a bit. It's going to clean all the surface as well and just make sure nothing stays still. Like obviously we're going to have the Corys down here as well, all sort of swimming around. That'll lift it up into the water column, but I can already see we've got that sort of circular flow, which is going to be absolutely perfect for keeping the tank really clean. Oh, it's going to work a treat. So another API product I use when I'm starting a new tank is Accuclear. This stuff is insane. I'm impatient. I want it to be clear fast. I need to know how it's sitting, how it's looking, you know, and I want to film it again. I want to show you guys. This stuff will get it clear within like an hour. Normally what I do is put it in when it's like this, and then I go home and have some lunch or something like that and come back. It's completely clear. I'll show you. There we go, we're looking so much clearer. All right, there's quite a few air bubbles, but that's it, it's just air. The actual murkiness or dustiness of the tank is gone now. Now looking at it straight on like this, I feel like we're missing something from this area. So that's actually where I want to put the majority of the stem plants. I'm going to trim a load up. I'm going to go for some colours actually. I'm going to put a few colours in that background, just a hint, not too much, just to break up some of that green. And I'm actually going to use some of the plants in here in the Rainbow Fish Aquarium one. We've got that Rotala macrandra in the back. We've got some HR growing a little bit out of control in the foreground. This does need trimming up anyway, so it's actually like the perfect time to do it. Right, there we go, we've got some great plants there. We've got Rotala macrandra, Rotala rotundifolia, Rotala HR. Now, the rotundifolia and HR look a bit similar, but that was a lot lower down, so not receiving anything like as much light, and is still as red as the rotundifolia, which is right next to the light. But this will probably go a different colour with the other lighting because it's not quite as powerful as these LED floodlights that we've got here. These are 20 watt floodlights each, and they're quite close to the surface. So yeah, they will change, but they're still going to look good. Now remember, I said I was going to get the pearlweed as well. I'm going to get it from this tank. It's looking gorgeous in here. I only want short little bits of it, see, because I don't want it doing this. Right, next up we've got some ceramic rings and some filter floss, or yeah, that's filter floss, filter mat, whatever. And then what you want to do is pinch together your stems, wrap the filter floss around it, and then you can just slide it into one of these rings with the bottom parts of the plants exposed. So then when you just sit it on the substrate, or even push it into the substrate a little bit, you'll already have an area for all the roots to grow straight away from into that nutrient layer that we've got underneath the sand. Perfect. Okay, I think that's going to look so good by the time it all clears again. I just misted it all up by stirring up the sand. I'm just going to do a nice big water change, and hopefully that clears it all up. Okay, the water change is done. The tank is looking really clean again. It's really oxygenated, but that'll all clear in time. Now we do need to add some more products to the mix here, because we're about to go get some fish. Two things we need to add. One is the API leaf zone, because we've got a load of plants in there that are fresh out of their sort of what's it called, like rock wall, which is where there's packed with nutrients. So they're used to absorbing a lot of nutrients. If you get brand new plants like that, I think it's always good just to put some leaf zone in straight away. And then also we need to add in the quick start, because we're about to add fish, so we need beneficial bacteria. Let's just do that now. So I need 2 caps of the leaf zone for this size tank. Oh, there we go. 1, 2. And then we want 5 caps of the quick start beneficial bacteria. That's going to boost the filter and everything. We're going to still be doing daily water changes. It's really important to be doing that. This will be perfect for the first day, and then in day 2 we'll do the water changes, and we'll be adding more again, because obviously we're taking water out. 3, 4, 5. Boom. So basically what's going on here is we're doing a fish in cycle, and we're using the products to help us do that. The quick start gives us initial beneficial bacteria, but it's the water changes that's really key. If you're not down for doing daily water changes, do not do it this way. I do it like this to all of my tanks and never have any issues. So we're going to go and get some fish and put them straight into the tank. Now that means day 2, I then need to test the water to start with. I always like to just test it, know where we're at. And then I'll do a 50% water change. So any nasties that are in the water, like ammonia and spikes in nitrite, that sort of thing, will all just get diluted straight away. Now I'll continue to do that every single day, and after about a week or 2, I'll notice when I'm doing my testing, we're not getting any ammonia or any nitrite, and that means the tank is cycled whilst the fish are in it. It's using the ammonia from the fish as a food source, the bacteria is. Again, that's how I like to do it. It's probably more work involved, because there's a lot of water changes and that sort of thing. And my lights have just all gone off. But yeah, that's just what I do, and it works well for me. Now, I don't know why my lights have gone off, because it's the middle of the day. It's probably something to do with that calamity down there. Let's go get some fish. Oh, it's a cold morning today. Look at this, so foggy as well. Whoa, look at the size of that. I don't have a tank big enough for that. Martin! Hi! Hello, I'm here for Cory's. Don't run!
What species of Cory are you after?
The Pygmies.
Awesome.
We've got like 13 apparently, Matt said. Is he still here?
He's on a day off
there he
again.
is! Oh. Okay, hello Matthew. How many? We've just been chatting. I'm making out like we've just... yeah, so I just messaged Matt saying, have we got what I need? Well, not need, but like the majority of people have commented on my yeah, no one needs these on my social media, on my Instagram and all that. Everyone was like, you've got to get the Pygmy Corys. Yeah. I wanted them anyway. I was going to do it, but let's just say that they decided, okay?
Yeah. It's for the public.
Here they are.
No, that's not them. That's elegance. Look.
Oh,
slightly
sorry.
different. You got Pygmies.
Oh
next door.
yeah. Oh, blimmin' hell, they are Pygmy.
Yeah, look at them.
Absolutely tiny. Hang on, the elegance could work as well though.
Elegance are lovely. really smart.
Because
little fish.
they stay small as well, don't they?
Yeah, so they'll get to sort of 4 or 5 centimetres still, but they are a more like slim-bodied Corydora, so they do look a bit more petite.
Do you know what? I swear I've had these before and they've been labelled as pygmies. Not from here.
Of course not.
No.
But
Just
yeah,
from
they
other
could
places.
be, to be fair, because they do get confused with a lot of them. There's several different species that get confused as elegants. So yeah, we've even had them sent to us before as the wrong species.
Right. And then here's the pygmies. They are so small. I can't even pick them up. Like, not physically pick them up. You know what I mean? I can't focus.
Which
Right.
light is reflecting? Is it this one by any chance?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Whoa, that's brighter. Look at you with your LEDs now.
Look at that. We're getting there.
Okay, sweet.
That
Yeah,
any
that's
better?
perfect. Yeah. Okay, there we go. Look, I've got them in shot. They are so small. Like, they're literally half the size of my fingertip.
Yeah, I think we've got a group of about 10 or 12 in there.
Oh
so
my
I think,
goodness, there's an absolutely gorgeous
Oh,
betterfish
he
in
is
here as
stunning.
well. Look at that one.
Yeah, he just came in on Tuesday night, so he's amazing. Then we got like a rose at the top, so there's quite a few different ones. But I'm pretty sure there's the other 4. Like I say,
Sweet.
I think there's about 10 or 12 in there.
Yeah, I definitely want them. I'm loving these rainbow fish as well.
Yes.
But are they suitable to go with my rainbows that I've got at the moment?
So they're a little bit smaller. They'll only get to sort of 4 or 5 centimetres.
Okay. So possible food.
Yeah, that's it. Once yours get bigger, things like, you know, Bozeman's and those bigger rainbows could probably see them as food later on.
Okay, we'll steer clear. Right, but the pygmies definitely. Bag them up! So we have our fish. Right, I'm going to put them in. I need to just obviously switch the light off first so we don't blind them, and should be settled in no time. Oh my goodness, I didn't even realise we had that many. They're going to look so good inside the tank. Right, let's just give them a little bit because the temperature is slightly different. I think it was actually warmer in my car than the water would be, so yeah. 15-20 minutes or so. Right, we're back. It's now time to add the pygmies. Let's do this. Here we go. It's time for us to release our first Corys. Here come the pygmies. Yes! They're so cute. Oh, awesome. I had to chuck that down quickly because they are so small, aren't they? They're ridiculous. Look at that. Let me step back. You can barely even see them in there. Now, obviously, we're going to need more than just these guys in the tank, aren't we? I mean, they're a great start. But I've actually got a lot more Corys as well. Recently, I broke down one of my tanks, my discus tank. And in that tank, I had a load of bronze Corys, albino Corys. The bronze Corys were breeding, and I've got quite a few babies as well. So down here is where I'm keeping them. We've got some stir-by. We've got a couple of stir-by in there. There's the albino at the back. There's one of the bronze babies right there. Little cutie. So there's quite a few in there actually. I think we've got about 10 total, so we can put those in as well. That would be a cool sort of second edition, or second, third and fourth, including all the different species. I would like to go back and get those other ones, the elegants as well, at some point as well, because I like the look of those, and a few others, and that I'll just keep it going. Awesome. So it is now actually the next day since that last clip, and before I left to go home last night, run out of time basically, I dumped in a load more of the Accuclear. You should see the water now. Like, look at that. It does not get any clearer than that. All the oxygen bubbles, well, most of them pretty much gone, and most of the fish are also hiding. Guys, when I came in, they're all going all over the front glass. They were swimming everywhere, but you know, I've just spooked them. It's also new, they're not used to me yet, it's fine. But we can now add all our extra Corys. So I think I've caught most of the Corys. I've absolutely trashed the tank. I needed to take out all the plants, everything. Got most of them in there. I think there's probably a couple more of the baby bronze Corys in there, which I'll sort of pick out as I see them, but it's got so murky in there now. Oh, there's one. No, it's not. Siamese alligator right there. But yeah, there's probably a few more. I can't see at the moment anyway, but I want to get these guys in because they can't sit in this little pot, can they? So yeah, let's put these all in. Okay, here we go. This should look pretty epic. go, my buddies. Oh my god, they look so good. That is awesome. Yeah, I don't know why, but for some reason I thought it might look overcrowded in there. It really doesn't. There's plenty room for more. Oh, look at them. They look great. There's a stir-by one right at the back. Oh, it's just gone around. I definitely want to get more of the stir-bys. But look, you can really see how tiny the pygmies are now, look, in comparison. Look at that. That is ridiculous. So cute. And then there's a juvenile bronze, so that's like one of the homebred ones, which is really awesome. I love the fact that I've been able to do that. And then we've got the juvenile there with the parent at the back, the bronze Corys. Got the albino in the foreground. Oh, it looks so good, doesn't it? I'm so happy about how this one's turned out. Right, I want to show you guys some feeding, and for that I use the AQUARIAN pellets. These are absolutely awesome. They sink straight down to the bottom, and the fish go nuts for them. They might be a little bit big straight away for the pygmies, but they'll break down in the water and they'll all get a feed. Let's put some in. Okay, so I'm going to plonk them down this side and they should float, there we go, down and hit the sand bed at some point. There we go. As soon as they get a sense that there's some in there, they're going to be all over it. Look at that, it's perfect, because I can now make sure that these sit right at the foreground here, and then I can watch the fish enjoy them as well. I'll come back in a second, I bet they'll be all over it. Okay, so these guys have basically just hoovered most of that up in one go. When I watched the time-lapse back, I was like, oh, they're just scooting over it. They weren't. They were just sucking it all up. There's a few left in that corner they've missed. That one's going to get it.